Welcome, totally human listeners, to Neighborhood Watch, a narrative horror podcast set in the RPG world of Hunter, the Vigil. Due to adult language and violent nature of the stories told, this podcast is rated M for mature, and we strongly encourage listener discretion.
Episode 5, Cancer Cell. My name is Madge Guthrie. Alone, we may be weak, but together we are strong, and strength is only dangerous when you stand in its way. People waste time talking about love or how powerful love is without ever telling you the truth. That love is a wet tissue when compared to the torrential downpour of hate. You may love someone, and it may drive you to do stupid things, but once you hate someone, you will spend the rest of your life dwelling on that feeling, remembering its intensity beyond the person who inspired it. You wallow, you sink in, and you carry that like a yoke. You love someone only as long until you learn to hate them. Then, they be in your head forever. Hatred and anger are power. Nothing's ever made people mobilize as quickly as hatred brought on by fear. The Great Wall, the Crusades, the Reformation. Humanity's history is two dogs snapping at each other for resources. Land, water, food, women, power. Hunters ain't no different, child. We lack the firepower. We'll make ties with the devil himself if it helps us in the short run. You see, we don't never expect to outlive the long run. I've seen biker gangs and ex-Marines turn on their battle brethren over rumor or the sudden appearance of a woman. I've seen vampires stand back to back with hunters to track down wolves, and I've seen the opposite. You look at humans, we're floating, fearful fish, willing to cling to anything to scare off the shark. And that becomes the question. Who do you protect? Who do you fight? And who do you save just to fight them later on, when you're both exhausted? The vampire blood junkie who works for the Vatican? The water supply poisoning serial killer chasing me from underground? There ain't no good or evil around us, child. There is only who you hate the least and who you choose to hunt. Only light in the world is your tiny candle, and that don't ever stay lit for long. 8 a.m. The air is cold. The gray winter sun is barely cresting above the century-old tenements. They have stone roof decorations that are shedding off white paint and thumb-wide flakes. I am across the street from a 4-story fire station, and graciously enough, they've left the garage door open for me. 2 buzz-cut men greet me at the front, and they ain't hiding their guns, so I don't hide mine neither. I open my coat and I hand them my phone, my sidearm pistol, the knife in my boot, and I wait for one of them to take the Guthrie off me. Guy's hand almost drops from the unexpected weight. Both of them look sunken in the face, yellow around the eyes, sick from something. They lead me up the stairs to the top floor. Domicile. Cots and bookcases, a personal computer in the corner. The cots have people coughing, wet towels over their foreheads. It's spreading, and it's spreading to their families. A few more men are gathered round somebody on their knees. There's a blood-stained canvas bag covering their face, and the big bold letters, "Make America Great Again," hanging upside down on the front of it. Bishop Mancini I recognize from behind, from his height and posture alone. But in the muted winter morning, his armor is hued blue-gray. his black and red robes, he's wearing, I guess you'd call it chainmail. A metal hood showing his face. A shirt with long sleeves jingles with every step he takes. He turns to face me, and I hear the tap of metal against the wooden floor. The men are scarred, tattooed, and whatever skin they've exposed to the cold is dry and rough. Skin of contractors used to working with their hands. They ain't high-level mercenaries, just local boys. I'm guessing the buzz cuts are cops, and the fatso in the suspenders is letting them use the firehouse. They form a half-circle behind me as Bishop Mancini begins, of all things, preaching. He tells us that community, coming together for the common good, is a mirror of God's will. He tells us the binding power of Christ's love. I'm hoping one of the men behind me is going to slit my throat, but no one moves. He tells us it is the right of the righteous to hunt down evil. He mentions Dr. Stephen Miker by name and says that tonight they will corner him at the Queen's Reservoir and end his threat by drowning him like a rat. I wonder if he knows about the Rat King, or how on the nose his remark may be. Which is what, he says, is the reason he came to America. He was sent here last month to discover, contain, and eliminate the cancer cell within our ranks. The rhetoric ain't nothing but vomit to me. Corner one person or a whole group of people, nothing spouting out your mouth but fear. And fear fuels hate like gasoline on an electric fire. He says someone has been helping Dr. Miker spread his disease, the black boils. He said someone has been feeding Dr. Miker information. Someone is protecting him. The person in the canvas bag starts to whimper. I can hear the cloth rag gagging them under the hood. The bishop moves to stand behind them, gesturing with practiced theatrics as he slides the bag off their face. Blood is covered over black and blue, dark puffing around the eyes. A nose that'll have to be reset. A bald spot on the scalp near the temple where a chunk of hair was yanked out. Angela's eyes are swelled shut. She probably can't even see me. And this is all my fault. I went to her and her father to help. This has nothing to do with the Gonzaleses. Mancini must know that, and going after a young girl is a coward's move. The bishop says that compassion has its time and place, but neither of them are before us. Mancini asks me now, directly, how Dr. Miker is avoiding his squad of manhunters, if not even the doctor's patrons from the Chiron organization can find him. I hear the din of the men shifting, stepping back behind the gaze of the bishop, some of them tensing, some of them breathing in deeply, purposefully. He tells me there is a rat in our midst, and asks me how we can stop Dr. Miker and the plague. I tell him I don't give a shit about loyalties or boys' clubs or who ripped off who. I tell him that as patient zero of the new plague, I might need some breathing room, to which every man shuffles away from me. Good. I need space for this next part of my plan. I tell him that I'll hunt anything in this city that threatens the young and the innocent. Mancini's face is set with the resolve of a gargoyle. He's so used to getting his way, he don't know how to be judged. I tell him that if he doesn't let Angela go, he'll be in worse shape than the vampire he fed from last week. Verbal reaction from the men behind me. Time for Mancini to double down and turn his attention to castigating me. 3 more steps away from Angela. Good, that's good. My thumbs are still casually down the front of my pants, and I tap the screen of the other cell phone touching my left thigh, ending the live call. And that's the signal. I just have to survive for whatever's gonna come next. Mancini lunges at me, and I twist my feet, getting ready to hip toss him. Even in his heavy chainmail, his fist is fast, and it compresses my solar plexus. Big ball of pain wants me to double over, wants me on my knees too. Then there's a crash below where the fire engine is waiting. Glass and metal crack and spray down below, and 3 men rush to the staircase, calling out that the truck just smashed into the first floor. Some plastic tub riding in the truck's back is shattered, its smelly liquid contents splashed over the fire engine and the entire first floor. I hear the air implode under a whoomph as the entire first floor ignites. 2 more men shove me aside and run down the stairs, screaming about fire extinguishers, which leaves the gun-3 6 feet from me resting on a table. All that stands in my way now is the man from Rome. He shakes his head, tells me I'm making a soul-damning mistake. He calls me a crazy bitch. I feel warmth for the first time in days as the hot grease fire downstairs wafts up to our floor. I step into the bastard and I hook my foot in behind his knees. I swing out, and under the extra weight of the chain dress, the bishop topples to the floor. I lunge toward the gun-3 and grip the handle just as a shot stings and digs deep into my shoulder blade. Piercing redness in my head, and vision tells me the bullet cracked the bone. At least a spiderweb fracture. Gonna be far worse in a moment. And just when the country's trying to eliminate healthcare, one of the men's come back up the staircase and is holding a police pistol at the ready. He keeps me in his side and crosses the studio space, reaching down to help the bishop back up. I toss a beer bottle out the window and I drag Angela to the fire escape. We keep each other in our sights. I ask him what he thinks is more important, killing me or saving his family on the cots. I tell him if I corner Dr. Micah, I can cure the plague later, but not asphyxiation from the smoky room now. I'm already on the Catholic Church's hit list. What would be the harm in being on the NYPD's as well? For some reason he's not gunning me down. Maybe they're scared of the germs that the bishop says I have. Figures. A bunch of grown men scared of a woman with cooties. I cough loudly, and I see him flinch, tightening his lips in a strain not to inhale. Then I see his pant leg pop up, then more movement on the floor. The cop's feet are suddenly crawling with rats, and the moment he and the bishop look away from me, I'm on the fire escape, practically rolling down with Angela tucked into my chest. She holds up her zip-tied hands, jingling something near my face. Keys to a Volvo, something. Oh, good girl. She not only swiped a phone, but she stole someone's keys as well. She's gonna make a great hunter one day. We find the car below on the street, and I see Donnell waiting in an alley, his hood down, signaling no one's followed him. The 3 of us make a break for it, driving casually out of the neighborhood, as the nearest other fire department, probably still shitting itself with irony, sends another fire engine to deal with the flames behind us. We reach the Creighton Go storage unit facility about a mile away. My shoulder is still bleeding since Angela's barely conscious, and Donnell almost vomits at the sight of the blood. I can't even rotate my damn arm, so I'm gonna have to enter this next part with only one hand moving. The man working the door accepts the cash bribe and rolls a tall bureau in front of the security camera at the entrance. Hopefully he don't unroll it anytime soon. Donnell's gotta drag us both, and Dion's red eyes go wide when he sees us. Of course, he goes to hold up Angela and dab her bruised face. I unlock the storage unit, my real home, and I usher everyone else inside. Emergency first aid kit to Angela, then I hand the boys a set of locations. I ask Dion to pull the trundle bed out of the corner, as my good arm helps me take a swig of Jack Daniels. I don't have the tech of the Valkyrie Project. I don't have magical potions like the Ascending ones. I don't have the funding and enhancements of the Chiron Company. All I got's up my sleeve are 2 family heirlooms from a family I ain't a part of no more. Most of my day's gonna be spent in waiting on the boys. I send Dion to collect the heart of the voice within the box. It's placed in the one place that never changes, in a Tupperware container shoved under and behind a vending machine in the DMV. Donnell has to collect the hands. I send him to the kitchen of a Chinese restaurant in Maspeth. Ain't no way that cover-up for human trafficking and heroin dealing is gonna mop up under the line fridge. Their chicken's good, at least. When the boys leave, and Angela's passed out from sharing the Jack Daniels, I let myself collapse in a heap. Bullet in my shoulder. 4-day stinking sewer water coating my skin. Ain't nothing graceful to it. Greasy and sticky slippery at the same time. I just sit in a corner, and I shrug harder than Atlas. In my mind's eye, I see my boy, Charles, perched on the wooden post of a barbed wire fence, facing a setting sun and an oncoming black cloud. He twists his head curiously like a raven. I dream I'm smushed against people on either side of me, and my fat fingers can't undo the buckle cutting into my stomach. The plane I'm in is shaking. Can't see nothing out of the window, save for the calm, rhythmic flashing of the light on the wing. I feel the whole plane lurch and shift, and I go with it. I dream that I can't breathe right, and a voice comes over the speaker, and I can't make nothing out, but it sounds like the voice from within the box. There's a sting in my back, and I realize I'm lying on the cot, some bright light pointed at my back. I feel flesh separate, muscle get scraped and pulled apart, and the bullet being extracted from my shoulder. I roll over, and I see Angela Gonzalez's daddy threading a needle as he passes through a lighter's flame. Son of a gun survived after all. Good job, Angela. Christ, I think I actually fell asleep. Good to know that 4 days is my new limit. Dion tells me it started snowing a bit ago. Soon as my jacket is back on, I ask everyone to leave. I don't need them tainted for what's about to happen. But nobody budges. Not Angela, beautiful and battered. Not the boys, lean and scuffed. Not Senor Gonzalez, who wipes the blood from his tools and crosses his legs in the corner. I pour some holy water in a circle. I burn a page from the Bible and I crumble the ashes in my hand, scattering them at each of the 4 directional corners. With some chalk, I make some markings based on the drawings from a notebook from Clyde's mother. In the center of the circle, so heavy it has to be moved by a metal hand truck, is the steel box. There is a humming from within the box, like a song. I slide back the panel, and I reach up and inside, and I begin to untwist the locking mechanism. Angela starts moaning in the corner when she's sure that she hears the humming too. After tinkering, the front full panel of the box falls open, and I see black smoke shaping a face topped with red eyes.
Hello, Madge. It's very nice to meet you face to face after all these years. I can't help but notice that my hands and heart are nearby. Are we getting the band back together?
It ain't like that. Listen, I'm gonna need...
Yes, I accept.
You ain't heard what I'm offering. You don't even know the situation.
But I hear your dreams every morning. I'm very up to date. You're the only Gun-3 here in the city. You've bitten off more than you can chew. And to make it even worse, you're up against the church. The church. You're about to walk into a gunfight with a super soaker, and you're hoping to fight fire with hellfire.
What's it gonna take to keep you loyal so you ain't backstabbing me mid-fight?
You mean to guarantee I don't rip out your soul, wank off into it like a tissue, and then cram it into your eye socket, all the while making you beg me for more? Nothing. I can guarantee you that having this conversation, thinking about letting me walk the earth without a luciphage, ball gag, and leash, you're gonna find yourself on the worst top 10 list in history. The church will never forgive you.
Neither will I, demon.
Please don't call me that. Please call me Pilot. I'd like to hear your pretty voice call me, just once, by that name.
Why?
Do you really want to know?
Don't matter. Just gonna be a lie no matter what comes out your damn mouth.
No, it won't. I'm a free piece of floating flotsam, a scrap of malware cut off from the main server. I gain nothing by lying, so I never will. Not to you, Madge. You see, I love you. I love you because no one else in your life has ever told you. I see the void in your soul that has caused you such pain, and I would be honored to fill it, make you whole. I love you, Madge. I say it because I don't need to say it, but because you need to hear it at least once.
You don't think we're gonna survive the fight with Dr. Manga and the Bishop, do you?
I don't know that you will, but you know who will survive. All the abstract innocents you put your life on the line to protect. The boys and girls you will never meet. All the cogs and trading commodities of human trafficking, and otherwise. Now, I sense that we are pressed for time. So if you please...
Please what?
Reciprocate.
I love you too, Pilot.
It's showtime.
The heart springs into the box, and I hear a record scratch and the pop of a circuit breaker. The hand crawls out of Donnell's pocket and scurries inside, followed by an electric hum. The lights go out across the entire floor of the storage unit. There's an arc of blue-purple electricity dances inches from my face. When he finally stands up on newly grown legs, facing me, nearly 6.5 feet tall, the demon wears a smile the way you'd wear a nice hat. Intentionally, slowly, no love or joy or spontaneity behind it. Pilot opens his mouth, and the inside just past his teeth is like tinfoil with fireflies of static electricity dancing all the way down his throat, causing a sick light to beam out. He tells me he's picking up radio signals and cell phone calls from the Union members surrounding the reservoir. He tells me that Dr. Manga has been spotted, and we are running out of time. Then, like an executioner slapping on a pair of manacles on a death row prisoner, Pilot holds out his arm, and I take it, and we walk. Come what may, come hell or high water, the wrath of the church or the wrath of man, we walk.
Neighborhood Watch is part of the Chroniclers of Darkness. It is written by Uncle Yo and produced by Jimmy Lin. Original music produced by Jimmy Lin. Excerpts from the album Hexed used with permission from Anders Manga. Special thanks as always to White Wolf Publishing and Onyx Path Publishing for giving us a whole new world of darkness. Without you, our paranoia wouldn't be nearly as charming. What was that scratch? Okay, it's gone. Comments, questions, extra scrap silver laying around you'd like to donate? Leave a like, share, or positive review on iTunes. Or join our doomed cause on our Facebook page at facebook.com/UncleYo. This podcast is supported by patrons like you at patreon.com/UncleYo. So check us out and help fuel the vigil because the nights are getting longer. Game on. Include everyone, and remember that death is more likely than retirement. But at least you won't face retirement alone.